With a chance of evening showers in Muncie, today, game number 1 of a Mid-American Conference Weekend Series with Ball State and Bowling Green. It's college baseball from First Merchants Ballpark on ESPN3. Hello, everybody. Alongside former Ball State baseball player and Jarrett James and Mick Tidrow, Tyler Bradfield on hand. Ball State trying to stay atop the Mid-American Conference today with a 9-3 mark, but it's Bowling Green in town trying to build off their Tuesday win against Wright State.
An extra inning victory for Bowling Green over Wright State. One of those games that could be momentum for Bowling Green, a team that struggled on the season, but a big win for the Falcons.
Yeah, and then Ball State, what can you say? Playing great at home, but unfortunately on Fridays 1-3, so they're going to look to turn things around right here.
And Bowling Green will try and continue that trend today. Taking a look at our impact players, Matt Smith of Bowling Green has certainly hit the baseball well, Mick.
Matt Smith's a kid that can play for Bowling Green, an outfielder, second-team All-Mid-American Conference in 2015, 13 multi-hit games in 2016, an 8-game hitting streak coming into today and this series. 12 of his last 13 games, he's recorded a hit. Tyler, this kid can swing the bat.
And for Ball State, Jarrett, your former teammate behind the dish this evening, Jarrett Reinfleck.
Yeah, Jarrett catching the game today. I mean, great arm. That's probably one of his best tools. As you can see, caught 21 runner stealing of the 42. That's 50%. I mean, numbers like that you don't get. So
that's a look at our impact players this evening for Bowling Green and Ball State. Let's meet Alexis Williams for the first time this evening. She's with head coach Rich Maloney.
I'm here with Ball State head coach Rich Maloney. Coach, what has been your team's biggest improvement so far this season?
Well, I think we're really strong on the, our lineup's pretty strong. And when we go 1 through 9, they're pretty, throughout the lineups, it's potent. 2 is I think with some of our pitching, I think some of the guys have made strides from compared to last year to where they are now. It's been very impressive. I think we still got a ways to go, but I think we got guys who are moving in a positive direction. I think our fielding's settled down nicely. So on all 3 prongs, we're doing pretty decent. And hopefully we can finish strong down the stretch.
Now looking at this game against Bowling Green, your team has struggled to get that first game win of a series. What are they going to do differently to make sure that that doesn't happen?
Well, Bowling Green's very well coached. Danny Schmidt's a great coach. I've known him for a long, long time, and his teams are always fundamentally sound. We're going to have to play well to win. For us, we need to get a quality start. That's where it starts from. I think our biggest thing moving forward is how many quality starts can we accumulate over the next, however long we get to play. So for today, to win on Friday games, you really need to get quality starts because the other pitcher that you're going to be facing on each of these teams is very good. So your margin isn't very good if you don't get a quality start. So I think that's the key to success is if Kevin Marnin can give us a good, solid 6 innings, I think we'll have a good chance to get a victory.
Thank you so much, Coach. That's Ball State head coach Rich Maloney.
Outstanding work, Alexis. The opening pitch is coming up. It's college baseball, Bowling Green and Ball State in Game 1 of a Mid-American Conference Weekend Series on ESPN3. So our first thing will be a beauty of campus and the batting order. Back inside this beautiful new facility, First Merchants Ballpark with Ball Diamond. It's Bowling Green and Ball State today in game number 1 of a weekend series in the Mid-American Conference with Ball State and Bowling Green. Not the best weather conditions today for game number 1. A chance of evening showers today and also a high rate of rain 66 degrees, 13-mile-per-hour winds, and a 50% chance of rain this afternoon. So hopefully Ball State and Bowling Green able to get at least one game in. We take a look at the batting order for Bowling Green. Leading off is Riley Minorick. For the Falcons, their best batter has been Matt Smith with a 284 average on an 8-game hit streak, but nobody on their starting lineup for the batting order hitting above 300.
Without a lineup, anybody hitting 300 in the lineup, it's been all Matt Smith within the order for Bowling Green, and the best hitter hitting third today for Bowling Green.
It's Kevin Marnin opening up with the opening offering. A little low for a ball. Marnin, the 6'7" redshirt junior.
Yeah, Ball State's really going to need Kevin to get them off to a good start here.
6'7", a guy that's lengthy, throws left-handed, can do it all, overpowering fastball.
Yeah, especially coming from that left side. I mean, that can just be tough for most hitters at this level. Not used to seeing a fastball from the left side, especially at that height, coming in there at about 88, I'm going to say.
Marnin, the Friday starter for this weekend series. His 11th start of the season. Most of any Ball State Cardinal this year.
Kevin's had some pretty important starts on the season so far, highlighting against LSU, their win down in Baton Rouge. Kevin's been the guy that they've been going to early in the season when they need somebody to throw well. Kevin's been that guy.
Yeah, and it's been interesting. I mean, this is Kevin's first year here at Ball State, coming from Akron University when that program unfortunately folded. But he's been a great addition to Ball State. I mean, coming in first year here and just being able to be their Friday spark, like you mentioned, Mick, at LSU. I mean, just pitched a gem. It was amazing.
He walked Minorick in the opening batter. With one on and nobody out. A bunt laid down by Brown. Staten's there for the out at first.
Yeah, no surprise here. Looks like Bowling Green's going to start off with a little bit of small ball as they just sacrifice bunt the guy over second. So look for Bowling Green to play a lot of small ball, and that's stolen bases, try to get a little bit of hit and run. Their coach loves those kind of things.
This is a good position for Bowling Green as well. Early in the game, runner at second base. You've got your best hitter at the plate. 42 hits for Smith on the season. That leads Bowling Green, and so far he's been the guy you want up to bat. And in this situation early for Bowling Green, they're sitting good.
Yeah, he's probably going to look for something outside, away, just drive it to the right side. Just going to at least get the runner over, if not in.
Top of the first inning, one out. Minorick stands on second at the top of the diamond. Matt Smith to the plate. Their best batter with a 284 average. A shot between the gap of first and second in right field for Ball State. It's called to make the grab, the throwback home in time. As Minorick took off from second to round home, 2 outs in the top of the first.
What a throw by Alex Call.
Coach Maloney's talked about Alex Call's arm in right field, how it's progressed since his freshman season. Comes in, throws a bullet to the plate. Perfect throw from Alex Call. Could not imagine anything better on the defensive side. If you're Bowling Green, perfect hit by Matt Smith. Just a good arm in right field.
Yeah, and by no surprise, looking to be aggressive here early in the game, just trying to get that first run across and sends them just for Ball State. That's their best arm out there and able to make a great play.
2 outs in the top of the first with Basalega to the plate. Big swing on the opening offering. An 0-1 count with 2 outs. Basalega, a 5'10 junior out of Pickerington, Ohio.
Those are the plays on the defensive side that can really spark you, especially for a pitcher. You see a play in the outfield that your team's making. You feel more comfortable being able to throw around the zone because your defense is there to back you up.
Yeah, I mean, things like that, anytime you have a great play, one thing Ball State loves to do is take their hat off their head and just show greatness for a great play like that. And when you see that on the mound, I mean, that's just a big boost of confidence.
The 0-2 offering skips off the front of the dish as Ryan Flesch has to chase it right. It advances the runner from first to second, which is Matt Smith. Basilega on Tuesday against Wright State in the win in 10 innings, 3 for 5 with a run scored and 3 RBIs. Had a double in the top of the 10th inning. The 1-2.
Those games, extra inning victories, Jarrett, you can attest to this, but those extra inning victories coming into a series as important as this one for Bowling Green coming in to Ball State. Those are wins that can help carry the momentum, and so far Bowling Green's carried those bats and the patience at the plate so far here today. Yeah,
without a doubt. Anytime you can snake an extra inning victory, I mean, playing tired over 9 innings, that's over 3 hours of play. That's the runner takes up third.
With a 1-2 offering and 2 outs, it sneaks by Rindfleisch. He has to chase it back to the backstop. That advances Smith from second to third with 2 outs and a 2-2 count in the top of the first inning.
But yeah, anytime you can get an extra inning victory, I mean, that's just an extra boost of confidence. Going to give you a lot of energy going into the next game, whether it's 2 days, 3 days later. I mean, you just have that confidence, that monkey off your back that, you know, let's get some team morale going. We're going to get this. So.
And morale for the fourth team, or the 4th-seeded Bowling Green Falcons in the East Division of the MAC, with a 4-8 record. 2-2, 2 outs.
When Martin's been able to work ahead in the zone, we've seen throughout this season that he's dominant when he's able to shut down batters, gets ahead in the count early, but these batters for Bowling Green testing his arm so far early in today's game.
See if you can put him away with the slider here.
2-2 inside for a called strike 3. Well, Bowling Green strands 1 in the top of the first inning off of this pitch by Kevin Martin of Ball State.
Beautiful pitch right on the inside corner, exactly what you want to get out of the top of the first when Bowling Green had a little bit of momentum going into the top of the first.
Yeah, it looks like that fastball just froze him, locked up in on his hands a little bit. Probably looking slider there after Kevin just bounced that previous slider. Thought he was going to come back to it. Looks like he froze him there on the fastball in.
Bowling Green with 1 hit in the top of the first inning. Let's go downstairs and talk with Alexis Williams.
Guys, it's a beautiful day out here. The sun's slowly coming through the clouds. Fans are coming in, and it's a great day for baseball. Now, the Cardinals are about to have their first at-bats of the game, but first, let's see where both Ball State and Bowling Green stand in the Mid-American Conference. Looking at the MAC East, we have Miami and Kent State on top, followed by Ohio, and then Bowling Green, who is 4-8 of the season. And then followed by Buffalo, who Ball State will travel to next weekend in a 3-game series. Switching to the MAC West, Ball State is on top with a 9-3 record, followed by Northern Illinois, Eastern Michigan, Central Michigan, Toledo, and Western Michigan. At this point in the season, each conference win is very important.
Thanks,
Back
Alexis.
to you guys.
Thanks, Alexis. Ball State at a 9-3 mark. Tied for first with the overall seed in the Mid-American Conference. Of course, the conference takes 8 teams to the conference tournament. Bowling Green is still in that conversation right now, but with a 4-8 mark, you would think that to help their case that you'd like to try and at least get 1 game this weekend. As you take a look at Ball State's batting order, leading off with Alex Call and Alex Maloney. 4 juniors to lead off for Ball State, 1 through 4. As Rindfleisch will back cleanup. Caleb Staten has certainly hit the baseball well this season for Ball State, leading the team in batting average and leading the conference in conference batting average.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Ball State plays. They love the power numbers, great numbers, and with the wind blowing out, really look for Caleb Staten, that left-handed big bat, in order to probably have a productive day.
And moving up Alex Call to the first spot after the first couple of games in this season, head coach Maloney making the change, putting one of the best hitters in this lineup at the top to jumpstart the offense, and that's exactly what it's done. Mid-American Conference play rolling around. Alex Call at the top. It's been able to push and get runners on base for Caleb Staten. 54 RBI. Not a bad season so far for Caleb Staten.
Not a bad season to say the least, Mick.
Scoreless entering the bottom of the first inning with Ball State to the plate. Alex Call leading off. C.J. Schilt received the start for Bowling Green, 6'1", redshirt junior.
Yeah, the one thing Ball State's able to do with having Alex Call in the leadoff position, he's going to get a lot of fastballs. Pitchers are going to have to come right at him in that leadoff spot. Looks like pitchers falling behind here, but look for him to come right back with a good fastball.
And that's what Ball State does so well. They pressure pitchers into throwing pitches, and that's when Alex Call, Maloney have been so effective at the top of the order.
Schilt with the 3-1 offering. Pushes to a full count. Call the conference leader in runs scored this year with 47 entering the weekend. On the full count, contact and up and out of play.
Early in the game, able to press the pitch count a little bit. First at bat for Schilt. Call doing what he does as a veteran.
As he slaps to right field on the back pedal towards the fence is Clannon. He plays it off the fence, and the throw to the cutoff man at second is Call with the sliding double.
Yeah, once again, Alex Call just able to take care of a fastball right here in a 3-2 count. He knows he's going to get himself a good fastball. Pitcher has to attack him right over the plate. He's able to just go right after it. It looks like it just gets right over, up in the wind stream, right over the right fielder's head here.
Call doing what he does best all season long. Heart of the plate, a 3-2 pitch. Too close to the heart of the zone, and Alex Call does what he does.
As he's safely aboard at second base with no outs in the bottom of the first inning. Bringing Alex Maloney to the plate, the coach's son, Rich Maloney of Ball State, the 6'2 junior. First pitch outside edge.
Coach Maloney shuffling the order. Alex sitting at the top for majority of the start of the season, and then shuffling it around. It's been effective, especially inside Mid-American Conference play, for Maloney to bat second.
Schilt sends home. Maloney into left field. Off of a bounce, it's played by Smith. Call advances from second to third. Maloney safely aboard at first base. Two runners on the corners with no outs in the bottom of the first for Ball State.
Yeah, it looks like Alex Call had to freeze there as the ball was hit hard on the line of the left fielder. Had to make sure that ball got down before he could take off.
Just below the belt, Maloney reaching for it down in the zone, but sending it to left field. Perfect way to start it if you're Ball State. Runners at the corners, nobody out, and your best hitter at the plate.
And that best hitter is Caleb Staten, 6'3 junior out of Goshen, Indiana. As he watches the first one off of the glove of the catcher, Greiner. For an outside ball, 1-0.
Man, it just always seems like every time Caleb steps into the box, he just has an opportunity for an RBI. And I mean, his numbers definitely show it. I mean, so far on the year, 54 RBI. I mean, that's leading the MAC, definitely top 5 in the country.
And if accuracy is a concern, third in the country. A chance for potentially 55 with Call standing at third.
It's not like you can pitch around Staten either, because you've got Jared Rindfleisch waiting on deck. So in order for Ball State with veteran experience mixed in this lineup, and if you want to try and walk Caleb Staten, you have to deal with Rindfleisch, and the list goes on and on for Ball State. So an opportunity for the Cardinals to really get going early in this ballgame.
Yeah, and that's one of the things Bowling Green might have a problem with here. I mean, your top 5 hitters for Ball State, 1 through 5, all hitting over 300. I mean, you can't just go on to the next pitch around, move to the next guy, because then the next guy is also smashing the ball.
The 2-0 offering. Contact by Staten, the flip to second. Chance for a double play made over at first base by Bowling Green. Basaluga to make the grab. 2 outs away in the bottom of the first inning.
Not exactly what you want if you're Ball State, but a run scores, take an early lead, get some momentum going for Marnin on the mound. But Caleb Staten, short swing, does what he needs to do to drive in the run.
Yes. Early in the game like this is all about run manufacturing. I mean, right there, you're just trying to get something, put the ball in play, get that runner on third in.
This brings Rindfleisch to the plate, the cleanup hitter. Nobody on in a 1-0 ball game. Bottom of the first.
Schilt working behind in the counts, so far working to Ball State's advantage. They're able to sit on a pitch that they like. And it's proved effective so far for the Cardinals.
Yeah, one thing you're going to get from Schilt today is a lot of strikes. He's someone who's relatively going to live around the strike zone. 20 walks on the season, that's all in 50 innings pitched. Looks like he has 49 hits, but he's someone who's just going to go right at these hitters, and that's something that Ball State might be looking for. But by no chance is it just that he's going to throw balls, walks here.
The 2-1. Ryan Flesch, a Johnny Bench Award watch list member for the best catcher in the nation. High in the strike zone, full count.
Schilt's pitched relatively well this season, 3-5. His record doesn't really indicate it, but only a 2.7 ERA. He's been able to get outs when he needs to. The run support hasn't been there when he's been pitching, and so far an early lead for Ball State, but Schilt's been effective when he starts this season.
Yeah, I mean, once again, hitters just hitting 249 against him, especially with a strike thrower like this. He's got to have some great off speed to keep those hitters off the fastball. Coming from the left side, looks like he'll be able to use that to attack these right-handed hitters.
Schilt is first on the team in ERA with a 2.70. It's top 5 within the conference. Trying to get out of the bottom of the first inning.
These are at-bats early in the game as a pitcher you don't want because of the strain on your arm early in the game. Pitch counts going up already for Schilt. Ryan Flesch doing a nice job, even though nobody's on base, working the count full and making Schilt throw as much as he can.
A big swing and a full count offering. That draws us to the end of the first inning, but Ball State off of a Caleb Staten double brings home Alex Call.
Six, 4, 3.
Yeah, let's save Hazel Baker for when they're coming up. All right, get ready to talk about that. It was Caleb Staten in the bottom of the first inning, grounding into a double play that brought home Alex Call, as Call led off the inning for Ball State with a double. Ball State leads 1-0 over Bowling Green. Ball State has been a very good home team this season, 10-2 inside of Ball Diamond. But in conference weekend series, in game number 1 on the Friday game, they've tended to struggle, 1-3 this season.
Yeah, they've really been trying to get some production out there, starting pitcher on Friday, and it's really been there. It's been switching back and forth between Kevin Martin and Zach Plezak. They just really need to get some run support on Friday. It looks like they're able to manufacture something early here. They're going to try and keep that going.
That's one of the hurdles Ball State has been not able to elude so far this season, is winning Friday games. You mentioned an early lead, 1-0 for Ball State. This is an opportunity for the Cardinals to get into a groove. Mid-American Conference play, we're in the heart of the season. And for Ball State, a big opportunity to come and get a Friday victory and continue the season.
Start of the second inning with Bowling Green to the plate. Bowling Green leads off with Doherty, the 5th hole hitter, a 6'6" freshman. What is it about Friday? Is there anything in particular, whether that be maybe the best pitchers throwing on the opposing team?
Hey, it could be you're always going to face the best guy on the opposing team on Friday, but you also got your best guy going for yourself. So you got to go into the game with a lot of confidence, try and get some support going for your Friday guy.
Beautiful pitch by Marnin. quick 3 pitches, 1 out for Martin. That's what we talked about, his effectiveness, working 1, 2, 3 in a count, and that's his effective pitches on the outside corner, up in the zone, and that's what Kevin does best.
Yeah, especially with his height. I mean, standing at 6'7", fastballs like that are going to get on you. They might only be coming at 88, 89 miles an hour, but they feel like it's just on top of you coming in at 93, 94 with such long length coming from them.
This is Cody Calloway of Bowling Green. 1 out, nobody on, top of the second. Into the backstop for an 0-2 count. Martin, a transfer from Akron, where last year he redshirted. Transferred from Akron because Akron dropped their baseball program, short of funding.
Coming from a program like Akron, Ball State faced them in the MAC tournament last year. Had 2 great games against them. First game in the tournament had a come-from-behind win by Akron, just a scrappy team, a team that's going to continue to fight. Then in the second game of the tournament, Ball State turned right back around, scored another 6 runs in the last inning to win that game.
The 1-2. Out of play keeps the count with 1 out, top of the second. Martin earlier this season, talking about Ball State and trying to make the transfer from Akron to Ball State, said that this team, this new stadium, it all just kind of feels like home to him. As a 6'7" redshirt junior, offers a 1-2.
Coach Maloney talked about how much Kevin Martin has meant to this team early in this season and how he's been able to bring his presence on the mound. Left-handed guy, 6'7". Not many 6'7" pitchers become available in their junior year of college, especially after a program being dropped. And once Coach Maloney and Ball State saw that he was on the open market, at this point they did what they could to bring him here to Ball State.
Yeah, without a doubt. Kevin also earlier in the year, once again in that LSU series, got to face one of his former teammates coming from Akron as the Sunday pitcher for LSU. Strike out there.
2-2 on the outside edge. With 2 gone, top of the second.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how a 6'7" left-handed pitcher like Kevin, clearly with a great potential to be a Friday starter at least any mid-major in the country, able to just turn things around and slip under the radar coming from Akron.
He's certainly proven that for Ball State this year. Thrown the most innings of any pitcher, with entering today 52 2/3. One offering on the inside to Glantzman.
Perfect opportunity for Bowling Green to find something here in the second inning. 2 outs, 2 quick strikeouts from Martin, but you get a base runner in any inning, you know you have a chance to score. And with the bottom of the order coming up for Bowling Green, this is where you can look to find a little bit going into the top of the order.
Yeah, especially if the bottom of your order can produce for you anytime, that's a plus for a team. The bottom of the order is going to look to just go base to base, really get some production, get the guys on base for the heart of the order. When that top comes back around, really drive those runs in.
This is Tyler Greiner, the 8th hole hitter in the bottom, a senior. Batting .789 with a junior, senior, and sophomore.
2 outs here. Interested to see if Bowling Green tries to get this runner on the second base. And possible steal, delay steal here.
Martin using the slide step to avoid the stolen base. Quick move to the plate. Jared, as a base runner, when you see a pitcher go to that slide step, what's your first reaction at first base when you're looking to steal a bag?
Yeah, that slide step's definitely something that's going to cut you down. Usually your first base coach has a stopwatch over there, just getting the pitcher's times to the plate. Anything around a 1-3 or below usually is just a red light. That's going to shut it down. So that slide step usually gets the pitcher below a 1.3 seconds to the plate. Anything below that, it's probably shutting it down. Anything above that, though, a lot of runners will try to take their chances.
And especially when you have a catcher like Jarrett Rindfleisch behind the plate. 50% of the runners running against Rindfleisch have been thrown out at second base.
Yeah, I mean, just phenomenal numbers. One thing you can hear when you think about Jarrett Rindfleisch, or talk to anybody about him, is his amazing arm. Really able to just shoot down anybody who's been doing that.
On the 3-1, a little low, 2 runners aboard on the walk. Marnin hit Glantzman, walked Griner, 2 outs, top of the second.
Now batting the right fielder, number 24, Hunter Clannon.
As the right fielder Hunter Clannon to the plate.
Bowling Green's had some inconsistency with the starting lineup. They haven't had somebody beside Matt Smith start nearly every game, and that's been an issue trying to find the consistency. But if you can get the bottom of the lineup going in a game just like this, as Ball State struggled on Friday games, this is a game that Bowling Green has a chance to come in here and get a victory because of Ball State's struggles on Friday games.
Yeah, anytime a team can go on the road and get a win on Friday, that's just huge for them, get that team mojo going. Once you get that Friday win, I mean, that's just a stepping stone for, okay, hey, let's take the next. If you take the next one, hey, let's go for a sweep.
Marnin only had 8 walks in the MAC coming into today's game, those specifically 2 conference games. Hit 1 in this inning and walked a second. Trying to get out of the top of the second as he offers up the 0-1, played through the gap and in left field. It's Bisa to pick it up off the turf. The throw at home, a little off as the dive is in by Glantzman. A 1-1 game back to third.
Close play at third. Rindfleisch nearly had him at the bag. The throw from Bisa just right of Rindfleisch at the plate.
Yeah, Bisa definitely an outfielder out there for his speed, getting to the ball as you see him really approach the ball quick, gets a good transfer here. Runner just rounding third, takes a really good turn, able to get in before the throw.
That's Glantzman that's safely in. To tie the game at 1 apiece.
Going back to the top of the order, Bowling Green has a chance to add on to this and continue this. Minarek, one of the best hitters for Bowling Green, and 2 runners in scoring position for the Falcons.
The leadoff hitter with a big chop. The first pitch of the at-bat. Minarek entering today had started the last 7 games. 8 for 28 with 2 home runs in that stretch.
One thing that's interesting, like Nick said, with the lineup just changing here and there throughout the season, sometimes a player cannot get comfortable in a certain spot in the lineup. If there's someone who likes hitting at the top of the order, lead off, maybe they get a lot of fastballs and they like that. But then if you're going to move them down, the amount of pitches and the types of pitches that they see changes a little bit. Might get a little bit of uncomfortability in the box.
That has happened for Minarek in the past couple of games. Despite those numbers, 8 for 28 over the last 7, has failed to have a hit in the past 3 games. Marnin trying to get out of the top of the second in a 1-1 game. Up and out of play is sent by Minarek.
The wind definitely playing a factor here at Ball Diamond. Bisa in left field, in left center at this point. Matt Eppers in center field is shaded towards the right center gap, and Call hugging the line more in right field. So playing to the wind. We saw it in the first inning with Call on his double, the wind playing a factor in right field.
Wind at 13 miles per hour out of the northwest.
Yeah, and definitely with 2 strikes here. One thing that you'll see a lot at this level is a lot of the outfielders specifically will take a good 3-4 big steps to the opposite side of the hitter anytime they get down to 2 strikes, expecting that hitter to just trying to fight it off, probably be a little bit late so they don't get beaten off-speed pitch.
Minarek, the leadoff hitter, and a 2-2. Deep shot, right field on the back pedal is called to make the grab into the inning.
Nearly just as we drew it up. Call doing a nice job backpedaling, making the play. Right.
A 1-1 game entering the bottom of the second inning. All right, after this, we're going to Hazel Baker. No? Yes. Okay, welcome us back and toss to Alexis. No? Bottom of the second inning in a 1-1 game between Ball State and Bowling Green. Bowling Green in the top of the second. Off of a couple of walks by Martin of Ball State, was able to even the score at 1-1. Alexis Williams is downstairs.
The Cardinals are used to being in this position before, and I talked to Coach Rich Maloney before the game, and he told me the improvements they've made have not only been in the pitching but also their hitting. So it's no wonder why Cardinals have received awards in the last 7 of the 8 weeks. Now let's see who those Cardinals are. BJ Butler, Kevin Martin, Zach Plesac, and Brendan Burns have all received MAC West Pitchers of the Week. Caleb Staten, Alex Call, Alex Maloney, Matt Eppers, and Sean Kennedy have all received MAC West Players of the Week. And not listed, Caleb Staten is the MAC Scholar Athlete of the Week. Back to you guys.
Outstanding work, Alexis. This team certainly with a high number of accolades entering today's weekend's, or this weekend's series with Bowling Green. In the bottom of the second inning, one of those guys that has received some of those, Zach Plesac to the plate. We will see him pitch this weekend. Today, the designated hitter.
Yeah, Zach Plesac, one of those few two-way dual guys that are here in the MAC. Quite a few going, actually. Ball State also has another, and Colin Brockhouse has quite a few at-bats this year. You usually see him on the mound, either in relief or pitching on Sunday.
This is his 17th at-bat this season for Plesac.
Plesac does have some pop in his bat, likes to pull the ball especially. We saw that at LSU down in Baton Rouge during their spring break trip.
As he watches the first 4 pitches of the at-bat for a walk, he's safely aboard at first base. Sending Spalding to the plate, 5'10" senior out of Sweetser, Indiana. Playing second base, the only true 4-year senior on this entire roster for Ball State.
Yeah, and also with that, the only true 4-year starter. This is somebody who's just been a workhorse for Ball State. Just been able to grind every day at second base. Played through quite a little bit of injuries. Earlier in the year, had to sit out a little bit with the ankle injury, but it looks like he's back and ready to go today.
Slick on the defensive side, a consistent at-bat for head coach Maloney for Ball State. He's one of those guys you can rely on in the Ball State lineup. You mentioned that the injuries have hampered him a little bit this year, but once he's been able to move past those in the past, he's been effective, and he's helped Ball State be as successful as they have been in the past couple of seasons.
He's also one of those guys who just loves taking the ball the other way. Once again, the wind being a factor today, pushing hard to right field. Look for him to drive something the opposite way.
A 1-0 offering to Spalding. Downstairs for a ball. Spalding, as a sophomore in 2014, was all MAC first team member. Was a team captain last year as a junior. And Schilt and Greiner, along with the rest of the infield, need to talk with the pitching coach.
Probably going to try and get some type of defensive alignment here. Just get a ground ball out of Ryan Spalding, get the defense to pinch the middle, try and get in double play depth.
That's Rick Blank, the pitching coach for Bowling Green, out on the mound. All 3 assistants for Bowling Green are former players underneath their head coach, Danny Schmitz. After the words from Blank, a 2-0 count, no outs, bottom of the second, in a 1-1 game. Spalding at the plate with Plesac for Ball State over at first.
7 straight balls to begin the bottom of the second inning. Not what you want to see if you're Schilt and Bowling Green. The infield drawn in a little bit at third base, but Spalding's been notorious for bunting in the past, but So far, Schilt has not been able to find that control in the bottom half of this inning.
Yeah, and don't be surprised if Matt Eppers here takes a few, sees a couple strikes before he decides to swing back. Once again, 8 straight strikes. Balls, I'm sorry.
Center fielder, number 35.
This is also an opportunity for Ball State to move the runners over, get two into scoring position, and make the offense continue to swing the bats well, which is what they've done. A team that bats nearly 300 as a squad, so this is a Cardinals team, once they get runners in scoring position, they've been able to bring in those runs.
And runs have been abundant here at home this season, averaging above 10-plus runs per game inside Ball Diamond. A chance for some here in the bottom of the second inning with no outs. 2 on, and Eppers squaring around for a bunt and pulling back on the first pitch.
Yeah, no surprise here. Matt Eppers, a phenomenal bunter out of Bristol, Indiana.
A graduate of Elkhart Central High School, as a senior, his team went 32-1. He squares to bunt again as he whips the bat back. And Schilt has yet to throw a strike here in this inning.
10 straight balls, looking to work the inside and outside half of the zone. He hasn't been able to find either half. And Eppers is sitting in the driver's seat, 2-0.
2-0 count, and finally a strike by Schilt. Right in the middle of the strike zone.
Yeah, sometimes as a pitcher, that bat just waving over the plate can be a little bit distracting when you're trying to find the strike zone there. Looks like he's been struggling for a little bit, but finally able to get one. Probably going to try and get back in the groove with a few fastballs, let him get the bunt down and take the out.
This is the 7th hole hitter, the center fielder, Eppers. A 2-1 count against him. That 32-1 record as a senior at Elkhart Central High School pushed them all the way to the state championship game where they won the state championship. It was the first in school history. Eppers played a big part of that. He has a 3-1 count, bottom of the second, 2 runners on. Eppers lays down the bunt, the first base line. It's Schilt stepping over, making the play to first.
And once again, Matt Eppers, no surprise, gets the bunt down there. What a great job just to move the runners over, trying to get the runners in scoring position here for number 10, Sean Kennedy.
Veteran presence from Eppers. His ability to bunt has been shown throughout the season. And once you get those 2 runners in scoring position, the Cardinals one swing away from bringing in 2 runs.
Yeah, once again, just trying to manufacture some runs here early in the game. Get 2 runners in scoring position. Base hits, most likely scores 2 with Ryan Spalding a little bit of speed on second base.
With 2 runners in scoring position, it's Kennedy to the plate, watching the first pitch for a strike. The hottest batter right now for Ball State is Kennedy, entering today on a 7-game hit streak. Best current streak for Ball State. He swings at the 0-1 to the third baseman and Doherty. It's played off of his glove, and at first base is Kennedy able to make it safely aboard. Bases loaded with 1 out.
Important thing for Doherty there, though, being able to just knock that ball down, keep it in front of him. That ball gets by at least 1, if not 2 runs score on that play, and Kennedy probably ends up on second base.
And it almost looks like Plesac drew the eye of Doherty at third base, took the eye off the ball as soon as he was going for it. Plesac staying at third base, but a good job by the Cardinals all the way around. Plesac doing what he can to help out Kennedy get on base.
Yeah, that's always a tough play for not only the third baseman, but also the runner on third to try and read what's going to happen here. Should I go? Should I stay?
Roman Bisa to the plate. With bases loaded and just 1 out. 2 RBI this year off of 12 hits for Bisa. Redshirt freshman swings on a chopper played by the shortstop Glansman. The field of the second baseman trying to turn 2, and they're out of the inning safely.
Schlitt able to just make a big pitch when he needed it. Bases loaded.
A double play with bases loaded, and Ball State strands 3. A 1-1 game heading to the top of the third. general conversation. Ball State in the bottom of the second inning wasn't able to account for anything. Loaded the bases off of a couple of walks. Schilt was struggling to throw strikes for Bowling Green, but a double play to end the inning, and still a 1-1 game here at Ball Diamond.
If you're Schilt, that's exactly what you needed on the mound because of the struggles early on, those 2 walks, 8 straight balls, and then once you get, Bisa had a hard hit ball up the middle, but perfect in double play depth on the defense, and exactly what you needed if you're Bowling Green to get out of a jam.
Yeah, and that's one of the interesting things about baseball. I mean, you start off the inning having a little bit of control struggle there, but I mean, hey, it only takes 1 pitch and get yourself out of the inning.
Brown to lead off things in the top of the 3rd inning. Second appearance to the plate today for Brown. And a transfer from Muskegon Community College where he played 2 seasons. Leadoff hitter in the top of the 3rd with a 1-1, and Marnin delivers.
Yeah, Martin's going to have to go right at this guy. One thing you don't want to do is leave runners on base for Matt Smith.
Smith on deck as Martin with the 2-1. Bunt laid down. Staten makes the grab at first off of a bounce, scooping to the first base for 1 out.
A drag opportunity going just too far down the line, an easy play for Staten. Staten's one of those guys at first base that gloves the ball well. Easy play for him over there, but trying to start off the inning with a bunt. And not a bad play for Brown to try and get on base for Smith, but just a little bit too hard off the middle of the bat.
Yeah, looks like you tried to get a little push bunt there. Normally you try and get that push bunt directed right at the second baseman, who's usually playing on the back lip of the infield. If you can place that perfectly, then you're able to get first base safely.
Smith trying to continue that trend.
Best offensively for Bowling Green is Smith. Best batting average, most hits, most runs scored. As Martin lets this one get away from him.
Smith, a veteran in the lineup, one of 2 seniors for Bowling Green starting, brings the presence. He's had at-bats throughout his career in the MAC and 2nd team All-Mid-American Conference last year. The best batter for Bowling Green, but he's had the veteran experience with the Falcons.
Smith with a grounder to Maloney and an easy 6-3 routine ground ball for 2 outs in the top of the 3rd.
Now batting the first baseman, number 6, Greg Basalega.
Brings Basalega back to the plate.
Just 5 pitches so far and able to get 2 outs with Kevin Martin. As a hitter here, you probably want to take, just to give your own pitcher a little bit of time to rest before he goes out there.
He chops it right back at Martin over his left shoulder. The flip from Spalding at second, and the side's retired. An impressive play by Spalding at second base, drifting right, back over his left shoulder to end the top of the 3rd. How long and what are we coming out with? Okay, how long? No, what are we coming out with? I'm sorry. We can, sure. Okay. Good job back there, everybody. Okay, we're going to come out and talk about Jeremy Hazelbaker.
Okay.
You have a full screen graphic for Hazelbaker. Okay. 1-1 ball game, bottom of the 3rd inning. former Ball State baseball player from 2007 to 2009, Jeremy Hazelbaker, has certainly made a big splash in the majors, going from a Ball State Cardinal to a St. Louis Cardinal, hitting .310 with 3 home runs and 7 RBI. Has certainly been a big talking point around this Ball State baseball program.
Also been a hometown hero. I mean, Jeremy Hazelbaker from Muncie, Indiana, went to Wapahani High School. He's really been something for the whole community of Muncie to just go ahead and cheer for in the majors.
An example for many of these kids with major league aspirations. One of those at the plate right now with Alex Call. In the bottom of the 3rd inning, he swings at the 1-0 to even the count. 1 ball and 1 strike. Called the 199th prospect entering this draft.
Call also with a lot of potential to just be another Jeremy Hazelbaker, also a right fielder for Ball State. As you see there, Alex Call, entrepreneurship major, just actually passed what's called E-Day for Ball State. Within the entrepreneurship program, they have a big E-Day, kind of like a Shark Tank for their entrepreneurship seniors. Alex Call with his product called the Natural You Clean Cookie, able to just pass E-Day with all of his panelists who actually are professionals in the workplace, and they really grind them hard, pass, fail class here.
Not a bad way to get into college and as a junior, but going to graduate early for Alex Call. But he's one of those guys, smart off the field, great baseball player as well. And going into this season, everybody knew what he could do at the plate and in the field, but he's just continued to get better. But owning your own business as a junior in college, pretty impressive start.
As Call lifts this one dead center, drifting back for Bowling Green is Brown to make the grab. And 1 gone in the bottom of the 3rd inning. More importantly, Jared, have you ever had one of those cookies?
I have, actually. I've had quite a few.
Are they good?
Yeah, the one thing that's amazing about it is that it does have a great taste to it. It's actually a 100% all-natural cookie, hence the clean cookie. And apparently, I mean, Alex Call must be eating quite a few of these. I mean, putting up the numbers that he has, hitting .384 on the season coming into today.
Must be the magic of your own product.
Hey.
This is Maloney to the plate for the 2nd time this afternoon in the bottom of the 3rd inning with 1 out. That was Call. Contact into right field, but right into the glove of Clannon, the sophomore for Bowling Green.
Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. A screamer to right field. Those are the toughest plays on the defensive side to make, is those balls that are going away from you from the right-handed bat in right field. Staying on it with the wind blowing, a tough play, but he's able to make it. And with Maloney swinging the bat well, that's one of those outs that Maloney, it's hard for him because of those at-bats that he's had in Mid-American Conference play. He has that momentum, he's swinging the bat well, but that one just doesn't drop.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you win some, you lose some. You're going to have a few where you just hit them really hard right at somebody. You're going to have some six dribblers through the infield.
As Staten, a shot to right field, but sliding in right field is Clannon with back-to-back grabs. 3 up and 3 down in the top of the lineup for Ball State with Call, Maloney, and Staten in a 1-1 game here at Ball Diamond. Hey, thanks for those, Caitlin.
Mac wins.
Back here in Muncie at Ball Diamond on ESPN3, Ball State and Bowling Green in a one-run ball game. Through 3 innings, entering the top of the 4th inning, we look at Danny Schmitz, the head man for this Bowling Green team, and he has been there for quite some time. 26th year at Bowling Green with 676 wins. He's 24 away from that milestone of 700. Certainly take a look at the accolades. 3-time MAC Coach of the Year. All 3 of his assistants played for him and also won MAC championships.
Yeah, Danny Schmitz, no stranger to head coach of Ball State, Rich Maloney. I mean, both of these guys just legends within the MAC conference, just great baseball head coaches for their teams.
He had some high praises for this Ball State team. So they played some very talented teams this year, but Ball State is right up there with any club they've played.
Just one of 3 MAC coaches to ever win 600 games within the conference, and he brings that head coaching experience. They might not be having the best season, but he's one of those coaches that can bring the team together and make a run late in the season. We've seen it before with Bowling Green, and he's a coach that can do that for the Falcons.
Yeah, somebody like Coach Schmidt, been here for a while. I mean, seen so many different types of seasons, and I'm sure seasons where they've had to start slow, come from behind, or even start fast, come right back. It looks like Caleb Staten loses the bag there on the throw from Kevin Martin.
It was Doherty laying down the bunt to the opposite base line of third base. Staten just a little too outstretched, losing the tip of his cleat off of the bag. Putting Doherty safely aboard at first. And Callaway to the plate.
Once again, Bowling Green not being scared to put down a bunt to get on first base to get those runners a 1.
Callaway watches the first pitch by Martin.
Tough play as a pitcher coming off the mound in any direction, having to spin around to your body and throw it all the way across the diamond. A tough play for Martin.
Yeah, especially for a left-handed pitcher to have to go to his right side and, like you said, have to do a jump turn and make the play.
Ground ball to third. It's picked up by Ball State's Kennedy, throwing across and making the play at second base and over at first as well.
Beautiful double play. We've seen this from Sean Kennedy throughout his career. Just another highlight reel play from Sean Kennedy. A bullet to second base. No doubt where that throw was going to end up. Spalding didn't even have to move to throw it back to first.
And that's what Sean Kennedy's going to bring to the table for you. A consistent glove over there at third base. Always going to make the big play when it's needed and the spectacular play here and there.
It's not just 1 or 2 plays throughout the season. Sean Kennedy's making these plays routinely. He makes those plays look like an everyday 6-3 put out or 5-3 put out at third base, but he makes those plays look so easy, just graceful moving across the diamond.
Yeah, Sean Kennedy, I've had plenty of chances to speak with him. His favorite player in the MLB, Manny Machado, and how was that? Manny Machado-esque with the backhand and the great throw to Ryan Spalding for the double play.
As Glansman down to the third base line, bobbling is Kennedy, trying to pick it up barehanded after turning the 11th double play in conference game this season for Ball State. 2 outs and Glansman over at first.
Those are the tough ones. Bare hands coming in, going across your body. Didn't have an opportunity to corral it and over to first base. Glansman quick down the first base side.
Two outs, top of the 4th inning in a 1-1 game. Back to Greiner at the bottom of the lineup for Bowling Green. A nice snag at first, diving is Staten, ending the inning.
That's why they call him Big Smooth right there. As he makes the diving play, just makes it look easy.
It's Big Smooth with the play at first base. It's college baseball on ESPN3.
Big Smoother. Only.
2 or 3 hits so far bounced. And I don't even know the number of times they've tried it.
Ball State's turn at the plate, the bottom of the 4th inning, and a 1-1 game between Ball State and Bowling Green. Caleb Staten ending the top of the 4th inning as Bowling Green went 3 up and 3 down. Alexis Williams is downstairs here at Ball Diamond.
We're midway through the 4th, and we're still tied 1-1. Now the Cardinals are up next to bat, but let's see how they got here. Now they're 23-15 overall this season, 9-3 in the MAC, and they had huge key wins at number 7 LSU and beating Cincinnati twice, 4-3 and 6-4. But with those key wins, they've also had key losses. They lost to George Washington, and they dropped the first game of the Dayton series. They're the 2015 MAC tournament runner-up, and they have not lost a MAC series this season.
Thanks, Alexis. Bottom of the 4th inning here with Bowling Green tied in game 1 of this weekend series. You bring up the win over LSU. This is the 4th straight season a Ball State team has beaten a ranked opponent, going all the way back to 2013. Ryan Flesh with a deep chop. Drifting back in left field is Smith at the warning track for the left-handed grab.
Wind possibly helping him in left field. A tough play to make with the wind going to his left into the gap. Ryan Flesh got a hold of that one just short.
Yeah, and it looks like we're starting to get a little bit of a drizzle here. The rain definitely can be a factor when it comes to Ball State's play here. They love the long ball, love hitting home runs. If it starts to come down, could tear that down a little bit.
Plesac back to the plate with 50% chance of rain before the start of the first pitch. And rain is coming as you take a look at the dark clouds. Plesac pushing this one foul down the first base line.
Ball State's put some good swings on a couple of balls that have just gone foul, as that one from Plesac, or a couple of lineouts or flyouts, but they're getting good contact off of Schultz so far through nearly 4 innings. It's just a matter of getting those to drop in on the grass.
Yeah, Ball State definitely not a shy fastball hitting team. As he comes with the slider here, looks like Zach rolls it over.
Chopping it to Glansman at short, the play to first with Basaluga over at first, and a ground ball 6-3. And there's 2 away in the bottom of the 4th inning as the rain starts to pick up. This field, though, can hold a lot of rain because of the surface.
Yeah, a lot of college teams now are definitely moving to trying to implement turf fields, or at least turf infields. I mean, when you got to get so many games in a season, the rain and the weather, especially in the Midwest, is something that can kind of deter that and take that down. So with a lot of teams moving to turf infields or turf whole fields, you don't have to worry about the rain as much because that drain system just gets rid of all that.
And we saw that a couple of weeks ago with the snow against Western Michigan for Ball State. Snow everywhere, they continue to play through it, and that's a perfect example. They can play through that. It's the lightning, the thunder that really have the effect, but the snow and the rain, if it starts to come out too hard, that's when it affects them, but they can play through the small increments of weather, especially with the turf.
Umbrellas are out as the wind has picked up. It started to rain in the bottom of the 4th inning with Spalding at the plate. A drive into the gap of right center. Drifting is Brown from center field, and 3 up and 3 down, Ball State. Through 4 innings in a 1-1 game, it's college baseball on ESPN3. Okay, what does this change for Alexis? Does she have an umbrella? Rain has started to fall as we're through 4 innings from Ball Diamond on the campus of Ball State University. In a 1-1 game between Ball State and Bowling Green, let's talk with Alexis.
The rain is coming down, but the crowd is still here, but there is umbrellas out. Now we're 4 innings in, and the top of the 5th is up next with Bowling Green up to bat. But first, let's meet this Bowling Green team and see how they got to this point. Overall, they're 14-23 of the season, and they're 4-8 in the MAC. That's putting them in 4th in the MAC East. Last year, they were 25-29 overall and 14-13 in the MAC. They were also the 2015 MAC Tournament semifinalist.
Thanks, Alexis, as they made it to the semifinals. Bowling Green and Ball State, you could make the argument that they were involved last year. Jared, you were a part of this. Maybe one of the most dramatic days in MAC history when it comes to the MAC tournament. That semifinal round where Bowling Green was no-hit by Connor Sitz of Ohio, the first no-hitter in MAC tournament history. Turnaround, Ball State had an 8-1 lead, gave it up in the bottom of the 9th inning as Akron was able to walk off. Yeah. So you could make the argument that last year in the semifinals, Ball State and Bowling Green, a part of the most dramatic day in tournament history.
Yeah, without a doubt. Bowling Green just being one of those teams where, regardless of what their record is during the regular season, they're a tournament team. They're a team that all they need is that take it in, and they're going to be able to turn things around. I believe it was 3 years ago, they were the last team into the tournament, ended up winning the whole MAC tournament, moving on to NCAA regionals.
Do you remember being a part of that?
I unfortunately do remember being a part of that, just trying to rip open the open Band-Aid as Kennedy makes an amazing grab, play at first base.
Kennedy has had a pair of those throughout the course of this afternoon. A diving stop and a 5-3 ground ball for the first out.
That's big league right there from Sean Kennedy. Could not ask him to do anything better. A throw right on the dime, over across the diamond. One of the toughest plays to make in baseball. Full extension for Sean Kennedy at third.
And Jared, I didn't mean to open up any wounds or rip off any Band-Aids, but I'm sure it was certainly emotionally taxing. They're in the bottom of that 9th inning last year.
Yeah, in that 9th inning last year, going against Akron, Ohio, just a great team. One of those teams that they had the pitching to just take care of us. So they were able to hold us, I believe it was at 8 runs when we got all those runs early in the game, and then just fought back, did not give up in that 9th inning, and scored 7 runs in the 9th inning. Luckily, we were able to turn things around the next game. We were down 7 runs, and as crazy as it was, do the same thing right back to them and move on to the MAC championship game.
It's Mid-American Conference baseball as Minorick off a bounce into center field, where Eppers picks it up off of the turf. One is aboard with 1 out in the top of the 5th inning.
Corey Brown tried to get a drag bunt down here. Let's see if he tries to do that again. Gets that runner over and gets 2 on base for Matt Smith. I'm sorry.
That's Smith on deck, their best hitter. Brown at the plate. Entered today 2nd on the team in at-bats. As Martin still throwing for Ball State at the top of the 5th inning.
Bowling Green definitely a small ball team, only 10 home runs on the season. A lot of bunts for them in the lineup. We've seen a couple here from Brown, 4 or 5 already for the team as a whole. And that's how they're able to score their runs. That's how they get those runners across.
Yeah, 4 bunts total for Bowling Green right now. 2 of their 3 hits have actually been, 2 of their 4 hits, I'm sorry, actually have been bunt for base hit.
Way to combat on the mound for Martin. Throw it up in the zone and see if he can get the bunter to pop it straight up into the air.
It is Brown looking at an even 2-2 count. Was 1 for 10 entering today over the last 3 games.
As the middle infield pinches the middle a little bit, trying to get a ground ball here from Kevin Martin to turn double play.
Come on, Kevin.
He's got to find a way to work down in the zone to get that ground ball, though. Getting it up in the air, especially with these wind conditions, can be a little bit dangerous here.
He has a runner at first with Minorick. Makes contact into the backstop. Brown 4 games this year with 2 hits, 1 game with 3. Has the potential to put the ball in play, has done it 24 times this season. but has the 11th best batting average on this team at .202. Chopped over Staten's head. The leaping Staten can't get there. He's safe at first with Brown, advancing Menerick all the way over to third. Runners on the corners and just an out in the top of the 5th.
And you see that a lot in the college game today. Anytime you get any hitter with a 3-2 count, you see the runner in motion here. He starts to take off, takes his chances with the hitter. If it's going to be a strike, he's going to have that confidence to put it in play, get that runner in motion to get rid of that double play potential. Just ends up working out for Bowling Green here. He ends up getting a hit.
We've seen it more and more with turf fields, especially the ball bouncing hard off of the turf and flying over the head of Staten at first base. It's a tough play for Caleb. He doesn't have a play on it, and it's an easy first to third for Bowling Green.
Ryan Flesch wants to chat with Marnin here in the top of the 5th with an out and runners on the corner. As a player, Jarrett, do you prefer turf? Do you prefer grass?
Oh, without a doubt, turf all the way. As an infielder, at least, you prefer turf just because sometimes you never know how the field's going to play. If you have a really nice facility such as Ball State played at LSU this year, had just a great grass infield to really just keep the upkeep of it, manicured grass and everything. It's just beautiful. You get true hops. However, in the Midwest, that's not always the case. You get too many different weather conditions and everything.
Top of the 5th inning in a 1-1 game. With one out, runners on the corner, and a conversation out the mound, and Marnin's day is done.
A lot of pitches for Marnin on the mound. Couldn't work ahead in the counts later as the game went on, but a good outing from Marnin to keep it a 1-1 game. Runners are at the corners, but Colin Brockhouse coming in to pitch for Ball State.
Ball State Sports Links production with Believe is in its 2nd season as we take a look at Believe and what this Ball State team does to prepare in the offseason. Jarrett, did that bring back some memories off season?
Oh man, there's nothing I miss about those 4 or 5 a.m. workouts, as you can see at the football stadium. Not even bright and early. The sun isn't even up yet.
Jarrett, a former Ball State baseball player. A pitching change in the top of the 5th inning for Ball State. Marnin's day is done after a 4 1/3 inning pitch. Colin Brockhouse to the top of the hill, a 6'3" sophomore out of Fort Wayne. He inherits runners on the corners with one out. As his first pitch of the evening, a little low for a ball.
Brockhouse pitcher here is going to attack you with 2 great pitches. Got a really hard, firm fastball and a hard slider. I mean, just a power pitcher, power arm to come in out of the bullpen and just go right at these hitters.
The rain has been off and on and periodic. It has started back up again with Brockhouse. Now 3 pitches into his evening.
Be interesting to see how the rain plays in these conditions with Colin Brockhouse here. Coming in out of the bullpen where you were probably warming up in the bullpen and the ball was dry, not much rain. And as you can see here, rain's starting to become a factor coming down hard.
Brockhouse's slider moving away from the right-handed batter. That's a tough pitch to hit, and with the wind playing a factor, also pushing to the right throughout the course of the game, that's one of those situations. If you're Bowling Green, lift something into the air. Call's got great range in right field, but we've seen it a couple times today where the wind, especially going to right field, has played a factor.
Yeah, once again, another foul ball off to the right side here. Slider in a situation like this, really tricky. You can go with it with the chance of it being buried in the turf. Tough ball to stop with a runner on third for Jarrett Reinflesh.
This is the hardest we've seen it rain so far. Brockhouse enters with a 3.99 ERA, a 3-4 record. Has held his opponents to a 270 batting average. Chopped to third. It's played nicely by Kennedy. Got him at second, throwing for first, an attempt of a double play, not in time.
Kennedy immediately knew he was going to go to second base instead of throw the ball home, looking to get to a close turn. Spalding got it out as quickly as he could. Good throw by Kennedy, but just beating it down the line was Smith.
Yeah, that's a tough play for Ryan Spalding, having to hang in there on the double play. As you can see, Sean Kennedy able to make a good throw to second base, but that low throw with that runner just sliding in, it's tough to stay in there and try to get a good firm throw over to first base.
If you're Bowling Green, small ball at its finest, getting runners on base, moving them around, that's exactly what they need to do here today. We've seen the small ball throughout the course of the game. It's panned out a couple of times, and here, so far in this inning, Bowling Green has the small ball working.
Yeah, 6 hits, none of them extra base hits thus far for the Bowling Green Falcons. However, they're still able to manufacture.
Bowling Green ahead by a run, 2-1. Basilega at the plate. Brockhouse throwing home, a line to first, Staten the grab into the inning. Bowling Green was able to bring one across in the top of the 5th inning. They lead 2-1 heading to the bottom of the 5th inning on ESPN3.
Visit Dylan.com when you're making your
We got it. Okay, sounds good.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Middle of the 5th inning with Bowling Green leading 2-1 over Ball State. The weather has started to pick up here with some rain, as this is the hardest point it's fallen. Umbrellas are out here at Ball Diamond. 66 degrees, 13-mile-per-hour wind, so it is a little windy too. That wind blowing from left to right across the diamond as we begin the bottom of the 5th inning. And Schilt still out for Bowling Green. Ball State has struggled with runs, and that has been kind of a common occurrence on Friday games this season within weekend series of conference games.
They've been struggling to get runs on Friday games. Saturday games is when they've been able to bust things open on the offensive side. We saw it a couple of series ago. Western Michigan came into town, 21 runs in a Saturday game. Ohio, the previous weekend as well, struggled in that Friday game. They did score 6 runs, but could not get the victory. And it's been one or the other. They've either been able to score runs, but still not win the games, or they haven't been able to win the games on Friday. And today, another example of that. And so far, Bowling Green holding Ball State's offense, but Bowling Green's a team that coming into today scoring around 3 runs a game, a team that hasn't scored very many per game, but right now the pitching for Bowling Green has been able to hold their own after a walk.
Yeah, and that's what's going to be one of the hardest things for Ball State right now. Once again, on Friday, you're going to face the other team, the opposing team's best arm. In these conditions, you're just going to have to find ways to manufacture and get runs across. Bowling Green has been able to do that as they have the lead right now, and Ball State looking to do the same.
Epper stands at first for Ball State with Kennedy at the plate. No outs, bottom of the 5th.
Always have to keep a close eye on Matt Eppers at first base. Stolen base threat every time he reaches base.
Yeah, the one thing you do have at the bottom of this Ball State lineup is a good amount of speed. Roman Bisa on deck right now, and Matt Eppers on first base. Both huge stolen base threats.
Eppers is 5 for 10 on the base path this season, tied for 2nd on the team. As Kennedy attempting to advance him. A little outside for a ball, 1-2.
One thing is you see Matt Eppers take his lead over at first base. He's going to try and take a few jab steps to try and get the pitcher, get that look over to first base, get him to pick off and see a move at first.
Kennedy with contact down the third base line, pushed foul.
Talking earlier this week with head coach Maloney for Ball State, he loves putting runners into motion. He loves guys that can use their speed to move around the base paths. This is a team that likes to hit the long ball, but they don't have, or they're not afraid to run the bases as well to put those runners into scoring position.
As Eppers takes off on a 1-2, it's grounded to third base with Doherty. And the throw over to first with Basaluga is in time. Kennedy is retired. But that does advance Eppers over to second with 1 out.
Yeah, as Matt Eppers was in motion, trying to steal second base there, that does get rid of the double play threat for Ball State. Able to only get the play at out Bowling, the only play at first as an out for Bowling Green.
Also puts a runner in scoring position once again for Roman Bisa.
As Eppers takes off, the throw from Griner is past the third baseman. Caught in a pickle is Eppers. Eppers drifting back, and the tag by Glansman, the shortstop.
Nothing Matt Eppers could really do. Slid past third base, the wet turf playing a factor. He was in there easily, but in the throw late, but Eppers sliding just past the bag. One of the weirdest things you can see because of the turf field, and he goes clear past the base. He had to try and go all the way home, and Eppers unable to avoid the tag.
Yeah, and that's one thing you got to account for as a base runner, especially a base stealer. When you're going to try and take that base, you got to know it's raining. You got to know it's going to be wet. Try to slide a little bit earlier.
This is Bisa back at the plate.
With this weather, a perfect opportunity for Ball State to play small ball of their own, get some bunts in. Bisa, a good bunter, as Eppers and Kennedy are as well. The bottom three can bunt in this order, but with that out, that changes things a little bit for Ball State. They have to try and refire the offense with 2 outs.
Yeah, if Roman Bisa can find a way to get on base here for top of the lineup coming up, just the RBI machines for Ball State.
A redshirt freshman out of Indianapolis, Indiana, where he played baseball at North Central High School on the north side. Takes it for a strike to even it up, 2-2. Bisa with 4 sisters and 4 brothers. Watches outside. I'd say their dinner table's probably fairly big.
Yeah, talk about a competitor. I'm sure he's a competitor at the plate as well as at the dinner table when you got to fight for that last waffle in the morning or whatever it is.
Schilt deals to Bisa. Into right field, and Clannon runs out of room. A full count to Bisa. Who has hit the baseball well as of late. This one out of play once again.
Only 2 hits for Ball State, and they both came back in the first inning. The first 2 batters for the Cardinals to come up to the plate, Call and Maloney, back-to-back hits. They did muster one run across, but after that inning, it's been all Bowling Green on the mound. Schultz been able to shut down the Cardinals, limit them. He's had a couple of walks as he walks Bisa here, but all in all, he's done a nice job getting double plays when runners are on base. He's been able to limit the damage against Ball State, and that's really what you have to do against the Cardinals. And now that you have a runner on with the top of the lineup for Ball State, that's a little bit of trouble.
Conversation out of the mound with Schilt. 2 outs as we take a look back at Call's first at bat. Back in the first inning, over the head of Clannon in right field, played off the wall. He eventually would come around to score off of a Caleb Staten ground ball. That is the lone run for Ball State. And a conversation to be had with Blank, the pitching coach of Bowling Green, and Schilt.
Perfect opportunity for Ball State to get those bats moving once again here in the 5th. And when you have a batter like Alex Call coming up to bat, Jared, even with 2 outs, you have a chance to score because of his ability to hit the ball in the gaps. And we've seen it from Call already today with that double into right field. But he has the ability to be a gap-to-gap hitter. And with that opportunity, 2 outs, Bisa's speed, a ball in the gap could score a run.
Yeah, and especially, like you said, with Bisa on first base, that speed, he doesn't necessarily need to steal second. I mean, you got power guys coming up to bat. Alex Call being able to drive the ball gap to gap. You don't need Roman Bisa on second base. Have him score from first. Coach Maloney loves being aggressive, especially with 2 outs, putting the pressure on the defense to make a play at the plate.
And another one of those power guys that is coming up is Caleb Staten. Call and Staten have certainly dominated not only Ball State this season in numbers, but the entire conference. You take a look at their averages, 1 and 2 within the team, within the conference, 389, 384. Also, certainly the hits and RBIs for Caleb Staten with 54 entering today, 3rd in the country.
And if one's not leading in the category, the other's been able to do that for Ball State. These two have been something magnificent to watch inside the Cardinals lineup. Not hitting back-to-back anymore as they were 3 and 4 early in the season, 1 and 4 now with Call as the leadoff batter. But they've been able to hit the ball well. Runs batted in for Caleb have been at a premium for the whole season. Both players leading with 58 hits in the Mid-American Conference. Caleb's also 2nd in the nation in RBI, so he's been able to drive in runs in any situation, and so far this year they've benefited from that the most.
And it's interesting, if you look at this junior class for Ball State, 4 of them considered a top 300 prospect into the draft. One of those is not Caleb Staten.
Caleb came in, injuries last year, not a lot of attention because of the injuries. He's come in a little bit unknown for Ball State. They had the 4 that made the top 300 list, and as you mentioned, Caleb left off that list, but he's making a case to go right back on there.
Yeah, without a doubt. And it's interesting because also with those injuries, he completely took the summer off, did not play summer ball like most college baseball players do, was able to just rest up, try to heal, had to pass a few concussion tests and things like that, and still able to just come right back into this season almost without even missing a beat.
The pitching change for Bowling Green. Devin Doherty now pitching. 6'2" senior out of Wooster, Ohio. Call at the plate, a ground ball misplayed by the shortstop Glantzman. Bisa advances to second. Call over to first base. Second error of the evening. And with 2 outs, Alex Maloney, who's hit the ball well this season, is up to the plate.
Glantzman, not a normal shortstop, mostly a third baseman for Bowling Green, moving over to shortstop, but Call putting the ball in play. Bisa, a nice job sliding in, distracting at shortstop.
Yeah, one thing that happens also with the lineup changes, not only offensively do you get uncomfortable, but also defensively. If you're a third baseman, I mean, you're generally ready for that ball to get right up on you without even taking 1, maybe 2 steps. At shortstop is a little bit different. You got to read the hops, try and get around the baseball to try and get that momentum towards first base. Looks like he just couldn't really get a good solid ground, especially possibly the rain becoming a factor here.
2-1 game, bottom of the 5th inning with 2 outs, and Alex Maloney at the plate, a chance to maybe tie the game. Maloney with a .457 batting average in conference games. Crouches over from the right hand.
Yeah, and as mentioned earlier, with Coach Rich Maloney splitting up Caleb Staten and Alex Call in the lineup, having them separated by Alex Maloney really does help out Alex Maloney. I mean, pitchers can't just necessarily try to pitch around Alex Maloney. It's going to get him a lot of fastballs, going to get him a lot of strikes. And, I mean, he's been able to take care of it for the most part. Alex Maloney hitting .327 coming into this game.
Contact down the third base line. A little left.
And those are the pitches Maloney's been able to see, the ones belt high, either curveballs that can't break down in the zone or fastballs early in counts. And that's why Maloney's been so successful, is because he's hitting in between Call and Staten. And when you get those opportunities, he's been successful in taking those and running with it. And that's something that Ball State's needed in this lineup.
Doherty throws back over to first with a leading call.
The dynamic of the lineup changes as well if you've got Maloney hitting second in between Call and Staten, because of the different things you can do, putting Call into motion at the top of the order.
Doherty throws on a 1-2, hit well by Maloney, right to the center fielder with Brown and an easy grab to strand two. Ball State had a chance to tie the game, but stranding two in the bottom of the fifth inning. In a 2-1 game, Bowling Green leads on ESPN3. That can't be good. Oh. A pitching change for both teams in the fifth inning. Brockhouse now throwing for Ball State. Doherty came in to throw for Bowling Green. And it's Bowling Green leading 2-1 in the sixth inning as we enter.
Not out of reach by any means for the Cardinals, just down by 1 run. Brockhouse, hard-throwing right-hander coming into the game, but an opportunity missed for the Cardinals. They've had opportunities within the game here so far, but once the Cardinals start to capitalize on those opportunities in the lineup, it's hard to stop them once they get going. They just need that spark in the offense.
Man, once again, Sean Kennedy just able to just make an amazing grab on a hard hit ball from Doherty. He's just flashing the leather all day, and that, once again, that's something that number 10 is going to give to you. It's going to give you a lot of hard plays here on defense.
He makes it look so routine, and that's not an easy play for Kennedy on his glove side, but he makes it look so routine.
He's been very good in the field as Kennedy, was the defensive player of the year last year, 954 fielding percentage. Over at third base as he positions in the 0-1, thrown home to Callaway.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. Standing over there at third base isn't easy when you got a 6'6", 225 Cam Doherty stepping into the box who could just blaze it right at you like he did right there.
Kennedy was able to handle it as the catcher Rhineflesh has to complete the strikeout, throwing down to first. And there's 2 gone in the top of the sixth.
Impressive bite to that slider. An off-speed pitch from Brockhouse. Started in the zone, moved away quickly, late bite to it. Brockhouse has that slider going, and when he has that moving around the zone and dancing around the plate, that's when he's at his best. And so far, we've seen that since he's come into the ballgame.
Yeah, once again, Colin Brockhouse, he's just going to show you exactly what he has. His fastball and his slider, an occasional change here and there, but he's not going to change up too much as gets the comebacker right back to him, able to take care of it to Caleb Staten at first.
As Brockhouse with a simple flip. 3 up and 3 down. Bowling Green goes in the top of the 6th inning. We enter the bottom of the 6th inning with Ball State needing runs. 2-1, they trail Bowling Green in Game 1 of a weekend series in the Mid-American Conference on ESPN3. You're leaving now? Make sure you mute that other mic.
Oh, sorry. All right, see you guys.
See you, Jarrett.
Five and a half innings from Muncie, and Bowling Green leads 2-1. They have put the baseball in play well, Nick.
Ball State's put the bat on the ball. They've had a couple of tough plays right to the outfield. Caleb Staten, one of those that have hit the ball well just right at somebody, and that's the tough day of baseball so far for Ball State. Those are the hard days as it goes. You're hitting the ball well, you're seeing it well, but it's not dropping down into the outfield grass, and so far Ball State's had that problem.
Staten leads off for Ball State in the bottom of the 6th inning. The first baseman who's been active defensively and offensively takes credit for the lone run this evening for Ball State on an RBI back in the 1st inning to bring home call. Makes contact on the 2-0 offering, pushes left and out of play for a 2-1 count. Staten last year suffered from a wrist injury, but was able to make 26 starts. The 2-1.
Tough break for Staten last year on a bunt attempt. Ball came in, he got the bunt down, said he didn't feel it until after he got to first base, and after that it was too late and hampered the rest of his season.
Contact into center field, played off of a bounce as Brown, and Staten is safely aboard at first. Another base hit for Staten.
Not a bad way to start the bottom of the 6th if you're Ball State. Get your best hitter on base and allow the rest of the lineup to help you out. Only down by 1 run, a couple of base hits for Ball State could change the complexion of this game in a hurry.
And you look at the power behind Staten's swing. The junior from Goshen stands over at first with Jarrett Reinflesch, the catcher, stepping to the plate. An impressive day against number 6 LSU earlier this season, helping them to the upset win 7-1 over LSU. Hit 2 home runs.
And that's where his offense really started. Before that game against LSU, Reinflesch was struggling at the plate, and since then he's been able to start driving the ball. The home runs have started to pile up. He's had 4 home runs since that LSU game, none going into the series against LSU, and since then the ball's been rolling, the bat's been hot for Jarrett Reinflesch, and that's exactly what Ball State needs. He's 4th in the lineup now. He was moving around the 6th spot because of the struggles at the plate.
As he gives it a ride to center, Brown making the catch as Staten heads back to first.
Winds calm down, easier play for Brown in center field to make. But if you're Doherty on the mound, that's exactly what you want to see. Reinflesch not getting a hold of that one too much, hitting it to one of the deepest parts of the field, and retiring somebody in the middle of the order after a leadoff hit is always a plus.
As Zach Plesac, the designated hitter, back to the plate for the 3rd time this evening. Takes the first one inside for a ball. Plesac last year was a All-MAC second team selection as a sophomore after a very impressive freshman campaign. Bottom outside corner for the second ball. As a freshman, was named the National Freshman Pitcher of the Year, was also a freshman All-American. The 2-0 as Doherty turns home.
This year more so than in years past, he's been able to have more of a presence at the plate, and that has forced head coach Maloney to toss him into the lineup and hit behind Ryan Flesh and Staten and call in the lineup. He's had opportunities to drive in runs. He's been hitting the ball well, as well in addition to pitching for Ball State.
He's hitting .313. We are scheduled to see him starting tomorrow, been the Saturday pitcher in Conference Weekend Series. A 3-1 count and an out. Contact deep left, pushing left and out of play.
That's his sweet spot. In the inner half of the plate, if he can get something to turn on and drive it to left field, that's exactly what Plesac could do. He also has the ability to drive the ball the other way, but those pitches inside, he has a better chance of turning on it and driving it down the left field.
A native of Crown Point, Indiana. Contact, chopping down the third baseline, once again a little left. Played baseball and football, did Plesac at Crown Point High School. Had the second best ERA in school history, and also on the football field, got the most receptions in a single season as a wide receiver.
Definitely athletic, and as a pitcher, using that athleticism to his advantage and turning that over into the batter's box as well. A duo player for Ball State.
A line to short, Glantzman, the backhand, throw to first, and Staten is called out diving back. What a play to end the sixth inning by Glantzman after a well-hit ball by Plesac. 2-1 Bowling Greens. We're through 6 innings from Ball Diamond on ESPN3. Got all that?
I didn't hear anything.
Back out here at Ball Diamond on ESPN3. Bowling Green leads in game 1 of a weekend series. A 3-game series where Bowling Green leads 2-1. We take a look at how it happened. Bowling Green got things started off in this 2-1 ball game as Call's throw all the way back at home in the first inning was in time to throw out the runner and clan it. Call then in the bottom of the first inning was able to duddle over the right fielder. He would eventually come in to score off of a Caleb Staten RBI. Bowling Green in the top of the second then responded as Glantzman diving home to make it 1-1. And then Bowling Green would go on in the 5th inning to make it 2-1. Start of the 7th inning.
We haven't seen anything too flashy from either side on the offensive end, but the defensive side, Call with that throw from right field, impressive. But the offense is playing small ball, as we've talked about throughout the course of today's game, but that's really been where Bowling Green's been able to make their damage happen. A lot of bunts and forcing Ball State to try and hit gap to gap when Bowling Green's on the mound. And Brockhouse, since coming in, has limited Bowling Green, but early in the game, Marnin started Bowling Green's offense, forcing him to throw a lot of pitches, work deep into counts. And that's what Bowling Green has done well so far today.
A full count to the leadoff hitter, Griner. starting catcher today. That split time with Justin Mott on the inside, a called ball 4.
Close pitch. Looked like a two-seam fastball from Brockhouse, running just inside.
Bringing Clannon to the plate with no outs and a runner on first with Griner.
Another one of those opportunities for Bowling Green to play small ball and bring it back to the top of the lineup. Minerick, Brown, Smith at the top of the order, and that's where they can generate those runs, and that's what they've done so far today. That's where the offense has been.
Brockhouse offers up on a bunt attempt, pulled back by Clannon. Brockhouse was a 2015 Summer College All-American. Down to the count 1-0. Throwing home inside, bunt attempt, third baseline. Kennedy making the play at first, but it advances Griner over to second base.
Smart play by Kennedy just to go across the diamond to first base. Didn't really have a play going to second base. Sacrificing the runner, moving over to second base to get the out. Bowling Green will take that, moving back to the top of the order with the runner in scoring position. Just one out, a hit away from potentially driving in a run. Bowling Green has done this throughout the course of today's game, only converted twice on these opportunities, but this is where they can press against Ball State in the 7th.
One out, a runner on second, advancing the runner with Griner. This is Minerick, 6-foot freshman out of Akron, Ohio. Brockhouse throwing home on the 1-0. Check swing in the dirt as Ryan Flesch quick to his feet to pick it up. Brockhouse, over the summer, he played for the West Hampton Aviators in the Hamptons League. Had a couple familiar faces on that roster with him, Ball State's Paul Harper and Evan McCourt.
You mentioned Minerick, just a freshman coming in, making an impact from day one for Bowling Green. Leading the team with 3 home runs out of the 10 that they have as a team. He provides that power punch, but moving to the top of the order, his ability to get on base is what's starting to become more important for Bowling Green as the season's gone on.
There's a chance to get on base here, ahead in the count 3-0. Brockhouse throwing home right over the middle for a strike. For the West Hampton Aviators, was 3-1 was Brockhouse with a 2.86 ERA. Also at the plate, he hit .329. On the way to being named that Summer College All-American.
Another one of those two-way players for head coach Maloney, Colin Brockhouse, Zach Plesac, 2 players that get the majority of their playing time from pitching, but also when they get their chances at the plate, they've been able to deliver throughout the courses of their careers.
Adding to that list of familiar faces for teammates, Paul Harper, and of course Evan McCourt of Ball State, also was A.J. Montoya, another fellow Mid-American Conference baseball player for Toledo.
Important pitch from Brockhouse.
The full count pitch, throwing home, up and out of play.
Slider just dancing off to the corner of the plate. Brockhouse trying to get Minerick something outside, swing over the top of a slider moving away from him, but just enough contact to keep the bat alive.
The full count pitch awaits with Griner on second. Brockhouse steps off.
The wind has died down, but Matt Eppers in center field still shading towards the right center gap, anticipating an outside pitch potentially from Brockhouse to force the ball from Minerick to the right side of the outfield.
Contact and a little dribbler down the third base line.
And
is foul.
If Minerick tries to pull the ball, that's exactly what would happen on an outside pitch. Looking to pull it, and he rolls over it, just foul, but Eppers in center field is shading towards that right center gap.
This has been a long at bat for Brockhouse, who came in to throw for the starter Kevin Marnin, who went 4 1/3 inning. Top of the 7th with an out. Brockhouse throwing home. And once again, another swing and up and out of play.
On the mound, these are some of the toughest at-bats because of how long that they can go, and Minarick is waiting for a pitch he can handle, just fighting off anything he can on the edges of the plate. If he gets something over the heart of the plate, he'll try not to miss it, but Brockhouse has to try and get a swing and a miss.
And a big swing and a big miss right on cue, Mick.
Perfect pitch from Brockhouse. Up in the zone just a little bit. Heat coming from Brockhouse, the right arm of the sophomore, and a perfect pitch. Minarick fighting but could not continue the fight. Just above the letters. Perfect pitch from Brockhouse.
Bringing up Corey Brown back to the plate with 2 outs, and Greiner still standing at the top of the diamond. First pitch taken for a strike. That teammate of the Summer League, A.J. Montoya, playing for Toledo, was the leadoff hitter for Toledo last year as a freshman. Brown down in the count, 0-1. Another swing and a miss, strike 2. As the leadoff hitter and as a freshman, A.J. Montoya went on for Toledo to be named the MAC Freshman of the Year. This was Brockhouse teammates for the West Hampton Aviators. Trying to get out of the inning is Brockhouse with an 0-2 pitch outside for a ball. That Hamptons League that Brockhouse threw in as a pitcher, then also hit .329, has produced a total of 4 major leaguers located out in New York. 1-2 Brockhouse, lifted but behind the diamond.
The runner Mott for Bowling Green taking off with the pitch. An interesting decision for Bowling Green to send the runner in motion on a 1-2 pitch, but he had a beat on it. Without the foul ball, it would have been a close play at third, but nonetheless, another 1-2 pitch. That one just getting away from Brockhouse up in the zone. Curveball that time. Could not get it to break below the belt. One pitch really for Brockhouse to get out of this, or Bowling Green to put another run on the board. A blooper here could cause trouble for the defense, but one pitch from Brockhouse could end the inning.
An even 2-2 pitch. 2 outs.
Brockhouse laboring through many pitches in this inning. Tough at-bats from Minarick and Brown back to back. Not ideal as a pitcher, looking to work quickly, send the offense back up to bat and get some runs, but so far Bowling Green has put the Ball State pitchers to work here today. Only 2 runs to show for, but they've done more than that on the scoreboard, and beyond the statistics, they've been able to force Ball State to use so many different pitches.
Called ball on the inside, pushing it to a full count, 3-2 for Corey Brown. Mott, who has split time with Greiner at catcher, stands at second. A 2-1 game. Pitch is thrown, and Brown down the first base line. Staten just ran out of room.
As a pitcher, as you continue to go on and long at bats, it becomes easier and easier to hang a pitch over the heart of the plate, and Brockhouse has to be weary of leaving something up in the zone or belt high for Brown to potentially turn on. So far, Brown does have a base hit, 2 bunts as well in the game. More of a small ball type of guy, but you don't want to give anything over the heart of the plate to anybody, especially with the runner on base. And with a full count, you have a chance to get out of the inning, but have to be wary of leaving it over the middle.
A pair of very long at-bats here in the top half of the 7th with Brockhouse at the plate. Brockhouse last year as a freshman had 18 appearances on the mound. Also played at third base. Fort Wayne native Brockhouse throwing home and a cold strike 3. Brown thought he had the walk. The bat was flipped. It's a called strike 3, and Brockhouse is out of the inning. 2-1 Bowling Green, headed to the bottom of the 7th inning. Do you join us in the booth at all?
You don't have to ask me anything specific. If you have anything, I'll chime in.
Okay.
Or you can ask me about the atmosphere out there.
Okay. Yep, we're all on. Brockhouse for Ball State was able to end the inning in the top of the 7th. Bowling Green still maintains a 1-run lead, 2-1 here inside. Beautiful facility in Ball Diamond. You take a look at the remaining schedule for Ball State, of course, in the heart of a weekend series with Bowling Green. They have a total of 4 weekend conference series left. Both of these teams do. Before the MAC tournament at the tail end of May. This team right now for Ball State is 9-3 in the conference. As Ryan Spalding leads off at the bottom of the 7th inning for Ball State. 1-0 to Spalding inside. Alexis Williams has been downstairs all evening long. With the rain, Alexis, you decided to come up into the booth and join us this inning.
It's really nice to be up here. The
I
rain
assume.
has stopped, but it was really heavy out there. There was at one point a guy was protecting the playbook over himself. The umbrella was protecting the playbook.
Hey, whatever you do to keep the papers dry. Spalding sends this one out of play. The rain has been here and there. It has started, it has stopped throughout the course of the game. It picked up mainly in the 4th and 5th innings.
An important inning for the Cardinals offense to keep Brockhouse in the dugout a couple minutes longer. Rest his arm as he had a long inning in the top half.
As Spalding lifts this one right field. Clannon coming in for the snag. One away in the bottom of the 7th inning. And Eppers back to the plate. Eppers from Bristol, Indiana, a junior up north, played at Elkhart Central High School. First pitch, a called strike. A very good baseball career, won the school's first ever state championship, but also had a very good football career.
Coach Maloney has been notorious for recruiting players like Matt Eppers, tall, athletic, can play more than one sport, and it benefits them in the long run. As Coach Maloney, we were talking with him yesterday about how important it is for a baseball player to be well versed in different sports and have that ability to play different sports because of how their athleticism can grow throughout their career. And we've seen that with Matt Eppers, Zach Plesac, just to name a few for Ball State.
Eppers swings, hit softly, back up the middle as the shortstop, Glantzman throwing over to first with Basaluga in time.
Eppers nearly beating it down the line using his speed, but hit just hard enough for the defense to make the play.
One more look at the swing by Eppers, hit off the short end of the bat. And the stride down the first base line and throw just in time by Glanzman. Brings Kennedy back to the plate, who's been very active at third base. But as expected, down in the count and chops it foul, 0-2. Kennedy was named the Defensive Player of the Year last year. 44 putouts, 22 assists, only had 4 errors on the season. The 0-2 to Kennedy, and got him swinging to end the 7th inning. Through 7 innings, Bowling Green still has a 1-run lead over Ball State, 2-1 on ESPN3. Sounds good, thanks. Good job back there. Ball State really hasn't struggled this season to score runs at home, averaging 10-plus runs per home game. But today, through 7 innings, just 1 run accounted for as Bowling Green leads 2-1 entering the top of the 8th inning. Taking a look at Bowling Green's upcoming schedule, they're on a 5-game road trip. Started on Tuesday with Wright State, 3 games to be played here in Muncie against Ball State, and then they'll wrap up on Wednesday at Youngstown State with 4 weekends remaining against conference weekend series. Bowling Green, 4th place in the East standings at a 4-8 mark. They're 5 games back of Kent State in first. They're still in the conversation of one of the top 8 seeds to reach the conference tournament.
A tough 5-game road stretch, as you mentioned, but if they can steal 3 or 4 of these games on the road, already with 1 win against Wright State and looking good so far against Ball State here today, but if they can steal a couple in the road trip, making it easier to go back home and putting themselves in the conversation in the Mid-American Conference Eastern Division and gain some momentum going into the MAC tournament. As Jarrett James was talking about earlier on the broadcast, Bowling Green's a team that can get hot at the end of a tournament and make a run. In large part due to head coach Danny Schmitz in his 26th year providing the knowledge in the dugout. He's been able to get his team rallied together, especially at the end of his season.
Brockhouse throwing came in during the top of the 5th inning in relief of Marnin, who started the game for Ball State. Walks Matt Smith, the leadoff hitter, to start the top of the 8th.
Brockhouse laboring through a lot of pitches in the 7th inning. Didn't allow a run. Left a runner at second base, but back-to-back batters to end the inning where he threw at least 8 pitches to both. And then a 1-2-3 inning in the bottom of the 7th doesn't help the case of an arm as a pitcher going back to the mound so quickly after a quick stint in the dugout.
Basaluga with a deep shot right center on the back pedal, in stride to the fence for Ball State as Eppers. Can't reach there in time, all the way around to home. It's Smith diving in and a 3-1 lead for Bowling Green. A double and an RBI for Basaluga.
Perfect swing, extended, going the other way with the pitch. Eppers couldn't get there in time. Smith, one of the quicker players on this Bowling Green roster, easily makes it in from first base.
Basilega on Tuesday in the win against Wright State in 10 innings was 3 for 5 and had a very important double in the top of the 10th inning that brought home 3 runs. A bunt is laid down by Doherty, and Brockhouse able to sprint up and throw him out at first, but that does advance the runner, and Basilega over to third.
A tough play for Rindfleisch, nearly knocking his helmet with his foot after he picked up the ball over to first, but a smart move by Bowling Green to move the runner over to third. A sacrifice fly, a suicide squeeze, a ground ball could score another run for the Falcons in a situation where Brockhouse has to work quickly around the zone but can't get too far into the heart of the plate. Ball State looking to cut off the run at home with the infield drawn in.
This is Giddings at the plate for Bowling Green, his first appearance at the plate this evening. An inside pitch by Brockhouse for a ball. Giddings has 4 straight games with a hit. A freshman out of Pickerington, Ohio. 1-0 by Brockhouse. In that stretch with the 4 game hits, or 4 games with a hit, I should say, Giddings is 5 for 15 at the plate. A guy that's batting .238 on the season, 6th on the team.
In a bit of a hot streak, perfect opportunity to give him a pinch hit at bat to look to drive in and another insurance run for Bowling Green. A veteran move by Danny Schmitz, the head coach for Bowling Green, to look to the hot bat to provide some punch.
Giddings has 4 RBI on the year, trying to make it 5 and bring home Basilega. Make it a 2-run inning and extend their lead. Hit off the crossbar of the backstop netting.
Even in the count, look for Brockhouse to either go away or up in the zone to keep it away from Giddings in the heart of the zone, but he can't get too far out. Anything past Rindfleisch could score a run, so he has to be wary of throwing it on the outside corner.
He makes contact out of play for third base side.
The outfield drawn in, giving themselves a chance on a potential fly ball, sacrifice fly opportunity, and a throw home. Another long at bat against Brockhouse, as Bowling Green is forcing Brockhouse to work, especially in the 7th and 8th innings. We've seen Brockhouse throw a lot of inside pitches in this at bat to Giddings. Another one there.
Into the dugout of Bowling Green and hops up and over. Giddings in high school, he played at Pickerington North High School. Played as a pitcher. Now here in college as an infielder and an outfielder. A 2-2, a swing and a miss. And Giddings goes down swinging for the second out.
Exactly what you need if you're Brockhouse. The sacrifice fly is out of the equation now, and that puts the middle infielders back in normal position. They can play their normal depth, and at this point, a base hit, maybe even a suicide squeeze, but even at that point, a tough draw for Bowling Green. But this forces the Falcons to have to drive something in the gaps.
Glansman on a line back to Brockhouse, the move to first and a flip to State. Basilega brought home one run for Bowling Green, advancing their score 3-1 over Ball State on ESPN3. Okay, Caitlin, hand me back that one that I The production teams of Ball State Sports Link has introduced a new show. It's in season 2 about Ball State baseball entitled Believe. Go all access with the baseball team, produced by Ball State Sports Link's students. Episode 2 is now available on ballstatesports.com. Mick, I know you have a large role with that.
Yeah, it's been a fun year and a half so far working on Believe to show the work that Ball State baseball has put in throughout the last 2 seasons, and a team for Ball State that's had a couple of good runs during these 2 years, and they look to continue that against Bowling Green here this weekend, but struggling with the bats as Bisa has an opportunity coming into today. Bisa is one of those guys that didn't start early on in the year, but has broken into the lineup, and head coach Maloney has liked what he's seen from Bisa in left field, in the field, and also up at the plate. He's been able to start to hit the ball lately.
Bisa standing in on a 2-0, a called strike. You can learn more about Bisa coming up in episode 3 of Believe, about his journey here to Ball State. A bunt is laid down as Doherty with a wild throw over to first, and Bisa with a couple of hand claps safely aboard at first.
Could be something that changes the offensive complexion for Ball State. Just their 4th hit and 2nd since the 1st inning, and that could ignite this Cardinals offense. A perfectly executed bunt for Roman Bisa, all the way going for a base hit, and just the way you want to start the bottom of the 8th if you're the Cardinals. Not an easy play, especially with somebody that has the speed that Bisa does.
And we've seen Coach Maloney go to Bisa a lot this season so far, having him bunt regardless of if there's runners on the base or not.
And a good situation for Ball State with a runner on, no out. You go to the top of your lineup with your 4 best hitters. Those being Call, Maloney, Staten, and Rindflesh. Call at the plate, responsible for the lone run, or scored the lone run for Ball State this evening, back at the bottom of the 1st inning.
Big hole in the left center gap if Call can get a pitch to turn on the inner half of the plate. Call has good bat speed, able to pull the ball anything on his hands, but can go with the pitch on the outside corner. We saw that in the 1st inning where he doubled. Also has speed to get down the base pass if he wants to lay something down to move over Bisa, but at this point, using him and his bat might benefit Ball State more than having him sacrifice Bisa.
Bottom of the 8th inning. Doherty throws home, inside and low. This may be Ball State's best chance at some runs, and ironically it comes in the 8th inning. There has only been 2 innings this year where opponents have outscored Ball State in the different innings. Those have been the 4th inning and the 8th inning. Call with the shot, left field down the 3rd base line. And just a little left.
Got a hold of it, couldn't sit back. A hair longer Call all over that pitch from Doherty. An inside pitch right on the hands. He'll get another opportunity at this one, but could have been extra bases once again.
Has sent 5 different pitches over the fence this season. That was almost number 6.
Baseball, a game of inches put on display there for Call.
Doherty throwing home, lifted into the infield. Communication between the 2nd baseman and shortstop, and it's Minerick making the grab safely at 2nd. One out in the bottom of the 8th inning for the coach's son, Alex Maloney. Doherty throwing home. Movement on the pitch. in for a ball. Maloney graduated from Delta High School, which is just about 8 miles from Ball Diamond. 1-0 pitch to him. Bottom outside edge, 2-0. He played his first 3 seasons in Michigan at Chelsea High School. Pitch in for a ball, 3-0.
And since Mac Clay has started, a .457 average, has been able to hit the ball into the gaps, into different spots. That leads to Mac since conference play has rolled around, and with him drawing this walk, it brings up to the plate Staten, and a perfect opportunity for Ball State. Just 1 out, and in this situation, if you're Doherty on the mound, you can't let Staten get anything over the heart of the plate. A ground ball play, you're 1 pitch away from getting out of the inning if you're Bowling Green, but 1 missed place pitch to the conference's best hitter up to this point in the season could spell trouble. And Staten's that guy that Ball State needs to be up to the plate right now, and he has that opportunity.
Infield end to Talk on top of the hill with Bisa on second, Maloney on first, and the conference's best hitter, Caleb Staten, to the plate. You're looking at the best lineup right now for Ball State, and that is the top of their order. 3 of the top 4 hitters for Ball State are all hitting above 400 in conference games. Those are Maloney, who is at first, Staten, who is at the plate, and Call, who popped up to Minerick at second base.
When you have 3 hitters in a lineup that are hitting above 400 in conference play, that makes you that much more dangerous rolling on through the rest of the season. And in a game like today, a Friday game in which Ball State struggled in the past in Friday games, Bowling Green looking to continue that streak for Ball State. But inside the Mid-American Conference, when you have players that can bat to a 400 level, it's something that can elevate you going into the end of the season and making it run in the conference tournament.
And Maloney talked earlier before the game heavily about his lineup and how important, how much power they have, and how much they've improved from the beginning of season until now. And he has a lot of confidence, all 1 through 9, but mainly in the heart of his lineup. He knows they can make something happen.
Third pitcher now that Bowling Green has utilized today, Cody Brown, a 6'1 sophomore out of Perrysburg, Ohio. He's second on the team in ERA with a 2.75. Has made the 3rd most appearances of any Bowling Green Falcon this season. This will be his 16th.
Schmidt selecting to go lefty on lefty matchup against Staten. But that hasn't stopped Staten throughout the season facing lefties. He's been able to mash against right-handed pitchers, left-handed pitchers. Teams have tried to play the lefty-lefty matchup against Caleb, but it hasn't worked as much so far as teams would have liked.
Mac's most dominant hitter, leading the conference in batting average and RBIs. He's also the MAC Scholar Athlete of the Week on April 4th. He steps in with an out and 2 runners on, Bisa in scoring position at second. And a brand new picture, a left-hander, Cody Brown. Throws outside on the first offering for a ball. Brown last year as a freshman played in 22 games. Throws the 1-0 home with just a piece of contact for a foul tip and a 1-1 count.
He wanted that one right over the heart of the plate just early, out on his front leg. But that's the pitch that Staten's looking for early in the count.
In those 22 games for Brown, allowed just 7 runs in 21 relief appearances. 6'1 sophomore. Downstairs for a ball.
Mick, in this situation, you have Staten up at plate. Where does Brown need to throw to him to have any type of chance?
To continue to work outside would be a good opportunity for Brown because of Caleb's ability to pull the ball so well. But as the season's gone on, he's been able to spray the ball to the left side of the field. As he got an inside pitch there, and see the quick hands there by Staten. Anything that's on the hands of Caleb Staten, he can pull that at a quick rate. He's got such quick hands that anything on the end half of the zone is going to be easier for him to hit, but he's been able to move the ball to the left side as well. And head coach Rich Maloney's talked so much about how Staten has evolved as a hitter, especially using the whole field. We've seen that, but inside pitches have still been Staten's bread and butter.
2-2 count to Staten. Bottom of the 8th as Bisa with an overgenerous lead.
With Staten being such a pull hitter, they've played him to that in the outfield, and there's plenty of room into left center field if he's able to get one in the gap.
Three-two, Staten lifted into center field in the shallow parts as Glantzman makes the grab.
Not an easy play, as you saw the wind play a factor. Glantzman having to move to his left, to his right, and stay with it. But a big out on the mound for Brown to retire Ball State's best hitter. The lefty-on-lefty matchup working to Bowling Green's advantage here this evening for Brown.
The infield wants to talk one more time, as Cody Brown's day will be short. In a 3-1 ball game, Bowling Green trying to keep Ball State at bay here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Trying to position themselves nicely to close it out in the 9th inning for a Game 1 win. In a weekend series where many people thought that Ball State would probably sweep.
It's been tough going for the Cardinals because of Bowling Green's ability to shut down the offense. For Ball State on the mound, only allowing 4 hits. Bowling Green has 2 errors in the field, but they've been able to move past that. The first inning was Ball State's best opportunity early on in the game. Did score 1 run to take the early lead, but since then it's been goose eggs across the scoreboard for Ball State's offense. They did leave bases loaded in the bottom of the first. They could have added on to that 1 run in the first, but since then it's been hard for the Cardinals to get runners on base. With 2 on here, their best opportunity since then. And with Rindfleisch at the plate, 1 pitch could change it. And we've seen Rindfleisch do that many times this season. We've highlighted the one against LSU, but he's been able to do that.
This is Tony Landy coming into pitch here in the bottom of the 8th inning, and hopes to get out of this with 2 outs in a 3-1 game. This production, a part of Ball State SportsLink. Since 2009, it's been the only digital sports production major in the entire country, with alumni at the SEC Network, the Indiana Pacers, who are in the playoffs right now, Indianapolis Colts, and Webstream Sports. 9 regional Emmy Awards, including 2 professional Emmy Awards with feature stories, and 5 consecutive SVG Best Student Feature Awards. This is Rindfleisch at the plate, and a brand new pitcher, Tony Landy. First pitch, a strike. Landy, a junior out of Geneva, Illinois. Throwing home for another strike.
Working the outer half of the zone to Rindfleisch. He likes to pull the ball, anything on the hands. Quick turn for Rindfleisch. Working on the outer half of the zone is the best opportunity.